sir.
Hello.
Could you help me stand up by any chance?
Help you stand up?
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Ready?
Yep, 1, 2. Bless you, sir. Thank you.
You okay?
I'm okay, thank you.
Sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
Did you fall?
Yeah.
Do you need help? Where's your car at?
I don't have a car, I'm blind.
Hold on, stay right here. I'm gonna get you some help. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna go get security to help you. Stay right here. Come here.
Are you sure? No,
Yeah. Just stand right here. Don't move.
You're good, thank you. God bless you.
Yeah, man. Stand right here. I'll stand right here until you get some security with you, man.
Why'd you help me?
Because God told me to help you.
What's your name?
My name is Curtis.
I'm Zach, man. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hey, man, this guy fell. He needs help, man.
My friend's coming. I'm good, man.
Sure?
Do you got a water or a couple bucks?
I'll have a couple bucks when I come out here. I'm going to find my wedding ring, man. But the lights were shut off yesterday, man. But I'll have a couple bucks.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple bucks.
Thank you, man. Bless you.
All right, just stay right here.
I'll be right here, man.
All right.
Thank you, Curtis.
Me again, it's Curtis.
Curtis,
Here's a couple bucks for you.
why did you give me money? You don't even know me.
And so, to build something for you, I don't have to know you. That's the God in me. Have a blessed day, brother.
You just pawned your wedding ring?
Yes.
How many years you been married?
December 15th will be 13 years.
Happy early anniversary. What's the key to a happy marriage?
Happy wife, happy life.
Could you help me up?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, my hand's broken.
Okay. This one?
Yeah, thank you. How much did you get for the ring?
I got 140.
Love you.
Yep. I'm trying to get the money now to finish paying for my light bill and everything, but I'm gonna be all right.
Do you believe in God?
All the time. That's why I helped you, because God told me to.
Can you take this?
Why?
I don't want to take your money, man.
No. Come on, you want to sit back down?
Hold on 1 sec. Curtis, I'm not blind.
How many fingers I got?
2.
What's going on?
Just trying to find the first con person that'd be nice to me. I got something for you, Curtis. I got $1,000 cash for you, Curtis.
Thank you.
You're amazing, man. You go get your wedding ring back too, man.
I'm gonna go get my ring back right now.
Love you, brother. I got $100,000 for you.
Oh my God.
Papa, you fine?
This weather's crazy.
We're good.
Take this for them. You pay your light bill?
Yes, lights are good now. Yeah, my brakes went out on the car.
How old's your car?
2011, car show won't cover me now.
Take these babies in the car with you all the time?
All the time. I wouldn't trade this for the world. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I wanted to come here and help you with your light bill for the rest of the year.
Oh my God.
I got $5,000 cash for you.
Oh my God. Give it to her.
It's for you. Love you.
So much. Left right there coming at it.
On behalf of American Jewelry and Loan, we'd also like to present you a check of $2,500.
Oh my God.
So you talk about life changing? This is
So we'll
it.
add that to the list, okay, bud?
Can I give you one more surprise?
Oh my God.
You better sit down.
You ran to help me that day.
I thought you were really hurt. I wasn't thinking. Even when I asked you, where's your car? I forgot you were blind. I was nervous.
What's your dream for these babies?
To be a good granddad for them to grow up, go to college, go to school, be the best they can be.
Where's dad and mom for them right now?
Well, mom, she's in Miami. And the dad, he's in between jobs.
3, 2, 1. Curtis, got you a brand new car.
Oh my God.
God, thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day.
Love you, brother.
Changed my life overnight, man.
Can I give you one more surprise?
No.
Curtis, I got $100,000 for you.
Oh my God.
And I only pray when I ain't got a prayer. So who the hell am I? Who the hell am I to expect a savior? Oh, if I only talk to God when I need a favor. God, I need a favor. I know
You can take care of these grandbabies.
Papa, you cry?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Okay. Okay, I love you.
Yeah, you, Papa.
The heat wasn't just from the engine block, still spitting wisps of gray smoke into the cold September air. The heat was from the sheer, terrifying stupidity of it all. It clung to the asphalt of that derelict East Side street like a shroud, a black, oily memory of panic and fire. You gotta understand the backdrop here. We're not talking about some slick Hollywood heist. This is Detroit, late at night, in a neighborhood where the streetlights feel less like guidance and more like spotlights for the next tragedy. The SUV, or what was left of it, looked like a predator had gnawed its bones. Twisted metal, shattered glass sprinkled across the curb like cynical confetti. And inside, in the driver's seat, was a man, 60 years old, but looking 100. His face smudged with soot, eyes wide open but staring at something a million miles away. This was Curtis Dixon. And get this, he was hog-tied. Not just handcuffed. We're talking industrial-grade zip ties cutting into his wrists and ankles, connected behind his back so tight they were digging trenches in his skin, pulling his torso into a painful, grotesque arc. He was barely breathing, smelling faintly of cheap gasoline and something metallic that you really don't want to think about. Just 10 days earlier, Curtis had been a local legend, a feel-good story so pure, so damn wholesome, it went viral faster than a wildfire in July. You remember the clip? It blew up on every platform. MD Motivator, the big-shot YouTuber who travels the world giving away life-changing money. He dressed up as a blind, struggling man on a freezing corner. Curtis, a man who worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on, the kind of guy who maybe had $40 to his name, stopped. He didn't hesitate. He pulled out the few wrinkled bills he had, put them in MD's hand and told him, "Go get a coffee, brother. It's gonna be all right." That single, selfless act earned him a $100,000 cash prize right there on camera. $100 grand, enough to change his life, buy a small house, maybe finally retire from cleaning office buildings at 3 a.m. A ticket out. Now that ticket was up in smoke, literally. When the first patrol unit, DPD Officer Reyes and his rookie partner pulled up, Reyes immediately felt the knot in his stomach tighten. This wasn't a car fire. This was a message, and that message was screaming. Reyes, a man whose face had seen too much exhaust and too many late-night lies, approached the scorched vehicle slowly. The smell of burnt plastic and upholstery was overwhelming. He leaned down, his flashlight beam cutting through the interior haze, resting on Curtis. "Sir, hey, can you hear me?" Reyes's voice was low, careful. Curtis just made a choked gargling sound. He blinked, a single, agonizingly slow movement, and the sheer terror in those eyes wasn't just about the fire with the ropes. It was the look of a man who realized the thing he was given, that $100,000, that piece of hope, had a deadly price tag attached. It was the ghost of that money that had driven the zip ties into his flesh, that had tried to make him another casualty of the night. The official report would call it kidnapping and arson. The unofficial whispers, the ones that follow the dark money, called it a hit gone sideways. Reyes knelt there, the urgency of the moment starting to thump in his veins, but he was frozen for a beat by the sheer irony. A man saves his soul with a gesture of kindness, and in return, the world tries to take his life. The biggest mystery wasn't who did this. The biggest mystery was what exactly Curtis Dixon had been doing with that $100,000 for the last 10 days. Because sources were already whispering about inconsistencies, a story that didn't quite fit the ropes around his wrists. And when the feds, the ATF, swoop in on a local car fire and kidnapping, you know the narrative they're looking for is a lot darker than just a random robbery. The scene wasn't just a crime, it was the final devastating act of a YouTube video gone horribly, fatally wrong. Reyes didn't wait for backup. He was already shouting into his radio for an ambulance, his heart hammering against his ribs even as he fumbled for his service knife to cut the ties. The plastic, cheap and unforgiving, screamed against the blade. It was a hell of a thing, freeing a man from ropes that were meant to hold him until the fire consumed him. It was a messy, desperate rescue, smelling like sulfur and despair. They rushed Curtis to Sinai Grace, and that's where the narrative, the whole beautiful, clean YouTube story, started to decay. The doctors patched up the rope burns, deep, raw lines circling his wrists and ankles, and treated the smoke inhalation. Physically, he was brutalized, but he was alive. Mentally, that was another country entirely. Within 12 hours, the whole tone of the investigation flipped. DPD detectives were interviewing Curtis in his sterile white hospital room, a harsh, unforgiving contrast to the scorched metal of the SUV. The first words out of his mouth were about the money. He rasped, his voice rough like sandpaper. They took it all. Everything. The 100,000. Gone. But here's the thing that made the detective's eyebrows rise. Curtis Dixon was found hogtied inside his car after it had been set on fire. That's an execution attempt, straight up, not a robbery. If they just want the money, they take it, dump him, and disappear. They don't drag him through the city for forced withdrawals, tie him up like a pig for slaughter, and use an accelerant to light his getaway vehicle, which, by the way, still had a melted wallet in the glove compartment. It was theatrical. It was personal. Curtis told the detectives this long, winding tale about meeting some guy. He couldn't remember the name, he swore. Around Mount Elliott, Nevada. Supposedly, this guy was offering him a safe investment opportunity. Yeah, right. A guy who just won $100,000 meets an anonymous investor in a bad part of town at 1 a.m. It's the kind of decision that doesn't compute. From there, he claimed he was jumped. 2 men. They blindfolded him, put a gun to his head, and spent what felt like hours driving him to different ATMs, forcing him to empty his accounts. His accounts, mind you, the ones that held the last remaining chunks of that MD motivator cash, the money he hadn't yet blown or banked. But the bank records, they didn't quite line up. There were withdrawals, yes, several $1,000s over 3 days, but they didn't match the timeline of the alleged kidnapping. The last big withdrawal was 36 hours before he was found in the fire. That's when the big boys got interested. This wasn't just a local stick-up gone sideways. This was arson, kidnapping, extortion, and potentially money laundering tied to the sudden appearance of a massive, recorded, and very public cash influx. When a paper trail gets this dirty, the DPD steps back. That's when Special Agent Kaylin Vance of the ATF rolls into the scene. Vance wasn't like the grizzled city cops. She was sharp, precise, with eyes that missed nothing and a uniform so crisp you could hear it crackle. She wasn't focused on who tied the knots. She was focused on the heat signature of the burning car. Arson is her specialty, and arson is never simple. Arson is about erasing evidence. Look at the pattern on the floorboard, Detective. Vance instructed Reyes, who was still hanging around the crime scene feeling useless, pointing to the faint scorch marks captured in the forensic photos. That's a flash fire pattern. It means a huge volume of accelerant, probably gasoline, dumped fast and lit quickly. They didn't want him to escape. They wanted a clean burn to hide DNA, maybe even erase the VIN if they'd had another minute. But they failed, and in their failure, they left behind the one thing they wanted to destroy: Curtis Dixon, a living, breathing, loose end with a story full of holes. Vance leaned closer to Reyes, her voice dropping to a low, intense register. The man's story about the ATM visits is thin, but that's secondary. Tell me about the $100,000. Where is it? Cash deals, right? Did he bank it? Did he tell anyone what he was doing with it before the kidnapping? Because I'm betting this isn't about what he did last night. It's about what he said last week. The fear gripping Curtis wasn't just physical. It was the fear of a man who knew he'd messed up the one good thing that had ever happened to him. And now, the heat was on. Not just the heat of the fire, but the relentless, focused heat of a federal investigation that smelled desperation, and worse, a calculated lie hiding just beneath the surface of a miraculous survival. The hospital room smelled like bleach and shame. Curtis Dixon was propped up against a stack of pillows, looking smaller, weaker, somehow less real than he had in that viral video. Agent Vance pulled up a hard plastic chair, the kind that squeaked every time you shifted your weight, and placed her notepad on the bedside table. She didn't shout. She didn't threaten. She just applied pressure, like a slow-moving vice. "Mr. Dixon," Vance started, her voice low and even, "I need you to look at me, not the ceiling. You were handed a miracle. 10 days later, someone tried to burn you alive. We're here to find out why they failed, and more importantly, why they tried." Curtis flinched. The motion sent a jolt of pain through his tied-up muscles. "I told the DPD. It was two guys. They took me to the ATMs. They took the money." "I know what you told them, sir, and that's where the story fractures. Look, if I'm a street robber, I want the cash, I want the card, I want the PIN, and I want to be gone in under 5 minutes. I don't want to waste 36 hours driving a famous millionaire around town, exposing myself to every traffic cam from here to Livonia just to grab a couple $1,000s over 3 days. That's inefficient, Mr. Dixon. That's sloppy." Vance paused, letting the silence fill the sterile room. She watched the subtle tick of panic in Curtis's eye. "And if I do manage to get the main haul, the $100,000, why do I waste the gas, the time, and the potential for a homicide charge setting fire to the victim's car with him still in it? That's not a robbery cleanup. That's personal, Mr. Dixon. That's sending a message." Curtis' breath hitched. He tried to clear his throat, but it came out as a desperate, rattling cough. I don't know. Maybe they were just crazy? They beat me up, Agent. They were asking where the rest of the money was. That's all I know." The rest of the money. Bingo. Vance leaned forward, her elbows on her knees. "You told the DPD you'd only spent a little on bills. You were going to invest the rest. Now tell me, who did you talk to about that investment? Who knew you were looking for a quick flip? Who knew exactly how much cash was still sitting in your sock drawer or under the mattress waiting to be moved?" The conversational style here is everything. It's not a police procedure. It's a psychological dismantling. Vance isn't interested in the rope marks. She's interested in the cracks in the man's confidence. Curtis looked down at his bandaged hands, his voice dropping to a near whisper. "It wasn't an investment. Not exactly." "Good. Tell me about the not exactly." "My nephew, Marcus. He's always got a scheme, fast cash. He saw the video, of course. Everybody did. He came by last week talking about starting a small business, something legit, a delivery service. Said he needed 20 grand to get the first van, licensing, all that. He showed me the paperwork. It looked official." The air in the room suddenly felt heavy, charged with betrayal. This was it, not an anonymous street crook, but family. The people who know your routines, your weaknesses, and exactly where you hide the valuables. "And did you give him the $20,000, Mr. Dixon?" Vance pressed. Curtis nodded, a single defeated slump of his shoulders. "In cash. He said banks were too slow for seed money. Said he'd pay me back with interest in 6 months. It was family, Agent. I wanted to help him like that YouTuber helped me." The irony wasn't lost on anyone. He'd extended kindness and been handed cruelty by his own blood. Vance scribbled on her pad. "And where did you meet this Marcus on the night of the kidnapping?" Curtis hesitated, his eyes darting to the door. "He called me. Said the van was having legal issues, needed another 10 grand in cash to smooth things over with the DMV or something. Told me to meet him on Mount Elliott and Nevada. He said he couldn't come to the house because of the paperwork. He looked really nervous when I got there. said his partners were watching. Now the story started to make a horrible, calculated sense. Marcus, seeing the cash, invented a scheme to skim $20,000, then got greedy, or maybe got into trouble with the people who really owned the delivery service. When Curtis arrived with more cash, he walked right into a trap set by people who knew he had more money stashed and who didn't care about family ties or YouTube fame. They only cared about the gold mine that was Curtis Dixon's goodwill. The target was shifting. It wasn't the victim who was lying, it was the victim who was betrayed. And now, Agent Vance knew where to point the heat. She had a name: Marcus. The chase was on, and it wasn't just a drive, it was a deep dive into the sticky, dark underbelly of a city that knows how to keep secrets. Vance didn't waste a second. Her team, combined with a couple of Reyes's sharper DPD assets, started tearing into Marcus's digital life. $20,000 in cash isn't easy to hide, even when it's family money. They hit the usual spots first: phone pings, social media chatter, and the digital footprint of the delivery service. The paperwork Marcus showed Curtis? Total garbage, printed off a cheap template. The address the business showed? A forgotten, boarded-up storefront near the old Packard plant. But the phone data yielded something concrete. Marcus was careless. He'd used the $20,000 to buy a ridiculously expensive new truck, and more importantly, he'd been making frequent, frantic calls to a burner phone registered nowhere, but consistently pinging off a single tower just west of 8 Mile. "It's a garage," Reyes muttered, studying the surveillance photos of the area Vance had pulled up. "An old auto body shop that went dark 5 years ago. Nobody's running a legit van service out of that hole, but they are running something heavy." The tension in the air-conditioned ATF mobile command unit was thick enough to cut with a tactical knife. Vance was relentless, her eyes scanning the blueprints of the abandoned shop. The kidnapping wasn't just about the $10,000 he was demanding, Reyes. Marcus told his crew that Curtis was sitting on a massive, documented cash prize. They assumed he had it all hidden, ready to buy his way out. When Curtis showed up with only a few grand, they panicked. They figured he was lying, or worse, he was getting ready to spend it with someone else. That's the sick irony. Curtis, by holding on to a small portion of the cash, survived. If he had shown up with a suitcase full of bills, he'd be nothing but ash and bone right now. The stakeout began at 2 a.m. The abandoned garage was shrouded in shadow, the only light coming from a single weak bulb flickering over the main bay door. Reyes and Vance, along with a small tactical team, settled into position across the street, the air heavy with industrial grime and a sense of imminent violence. "Marcus isn't the mastermind here," Vance whispered into her comms. "He's the lure. The people inside, they're the ones who tied up Curtis and set the fire. We go in hard, no warnings. They know who we are, or at least they know they're compromised." The plan was simple: breach the main door, secure the interior, and find Marcus before his partners silenced him. Because if Marcus talked to the police, his value to his crew went immediately to zero. When they hit the door, the noise was explosive, shattering the silence of the industrial district. They stormed the garage. The interior was a grimy, chaotic scene, not a delivery service, but definitely a black market operation. Half-dismantled cars, stacks of illegal vehicle parts, and the harsh chemical smell of spray paint mixed with something far more toxic. They cleared the main bay, empty. They moved to a small, windowless office in the back. The door was slightly ajar. Reyes, leading the charge, pushed it open with a controlled kick. The light inside was dim, cast by a single desktop lamp. On the floor, near a cluttered desk, was Marcus. He wasn't dead, but he was huddled, shaking, clutching a bloody rag to his head. He looked like a cornered animal, eyes wide with genuine, unadulterated terror. He hadn't been expecting the ATF, he'd been expecting his partners to come back and finish him. Lying on the desk beside him was a handful of money, maybe a few $1,000s maybe, and a sleek, heavy pistol. But the real discovery was the note penned crudely to the corkboard above the desk. It wasn't a threat from the ATF. It was a scrawled message written in block letters. Your truck is gone. You talk, you burn. This wasn't just a betrayal against Curtis. Marcus was also a mark, a fool who thought he could steal from dangerous people and get away with it. They had taken his expensive new truck, his reward for betraying his family, and they were hunting him down. The fire in Curtis's SUV was practice, a promise of what was coming next. Vance stepped over the threshold, her weapon lowered but steady. Marcus, where are the men who tied up your uncle? Marcus didn't look at her. He just stared at the note, his voice a broken, high-pitched plea. They were supposed to just scare him, Agent. Take the $10,000 and tell him to stay quiet. I didn't know they were going to fire him. He choked out the word, the horrifying image of his uncle, hogtied and burning, clearly seared into his mind. They got greedy. They said if they didn't get the whole 100, I was next. They left me here to wait. The conversation had shifted from solving a kidnapping to uncovering a larger, more volatile criminal network that had been drawn like a viper to the scent of easy YouTube cash. And they still had the $100,000. Marcus, huddled on the dirty floor, started to crack. The fear of prison was nothing compared to the promise of being fired by his partners. He stammered out the names, Dwayne and Ray. They weren't delivery guys. They were low-level operators in a serious chop shop and fence ring, and they'd been eyeing a massive shipment of hot engines coming through Windsor. The $100,000 was supposed to be their stake, their new, bigger life. Where are they going, Marcus? Where's the money? Vance demanded, pulling him up by the collar of his jacket. His eyes darted frantically. The money? It's at the Old Rouge River shipyard warehouses. They were using it to pay the guy tonight. The engine shipment comes in before dawn. They were leaving the state immediately after. They said they were going to torch everything here. The clock was ticking down to zero. The DPD and the ATF scrambled. It was a chaotic, high-speed convoy across the city, siren lights painting the dark streets red and blue. The Rouge River area is a maze of abandoned docks and concrete tombs, a perfect place to make a clean escape or disappear forever. When they arrived, the fog was rolling in off the water, cold and thick, swallowing the moonlight. It was a visual nightmare, heavy and oppressive, making every shadow look like a threat. They spotted them immediately. A single black shipping container door, slightly ajar, and two figures, Dwayne and Ray, moving quickly, loading duffel bags into a battered old sedan. The bags weren't full of engines, they were full of cash. Vance and Reyes split up their approach. This wasn't subtle. This was a desperate, final confrontation in the cold, industrial darkness. ATF, police, freeze! The commands cut through the misty air. The partners didn't hesitate. They abandoned the car, one diving for cover behind a stack of rusted pipes, the other drawing a weapon and opening fire. The silence of the shipyard was immediately replaced by the sharp, concussive cracks of gunfire. Reyes, drawing on years of street training, returned fire, pinning Ray down. Dwayne, moving with brutal efficiency, flanked Dwayne, who was scrambling to get to the protection of a cargo container. The firefight was over almost as soon as it began. Ray went down, hit in the shoulder, dropping his weapon with a howl. Dwayne, seeing his escape cut off, threw up his hands, the ultimate act of cowardice from a man who had tried to burn an old man alive for cash. In the back of the sedan, on the passenger seat, was one large battered canvas bag. Inside was the cash, all of it, $97,500. minus the 20 Marcus had pocketed and the few hundred they'd spent on the burner phone and gas for the arson attempt. Vance stood over the captured duo, the fog swirling around her boots. She didn't look triumphant, she looked utterly exhausted by the relentless greed she witnessed every day. The final gut-punch realization was this: the $100,000, a gift meant to restore faith in humanity, had done the opposite. It hadn't just attracted a few desperate criminals, it had poisoned Curtis's own family, turning his nephew into a betrayer and a lure. It had almost cost an innocent man his life. Curtis Dixon was alive, safe in an undisclosed location, waiting for the all clear, but his life would never be simple again. He was no longer just the Good Samaritan from the viral video. He was a survivor of a calculated, cruel attempt on his life, a direct result of being rich for 10 days. The YouTube views had soared. The comment section had flooded with love and praise. But in the quiet hours after the raid, Agent Vance knew the real cost of that fame. Curtis had survived the fire, but he would forever live with the burn scars left by the betrayal. The money was back, clean and accounted for, but the trust was gone, lost forever somewhere in the dark, smoky corners of Detroit's East Side. The perfect crime failed, but the perfect tragedy was complete.